This bank holiday, don't spend tons of money on music downloads. Just think of a tune and hum it. If you want to switch tracks, just think of another tune and hum that. And if you want to fast forward a track, just hum it quicker.
Looking for ways to live for less this bank holiday? Right now at Argos there's up to half price on all leather sofas, 20% off fridge freezers and all cross-trainers, treadmills and cycles. Plus there's up to £200 off TVs. Get to Argos now to pick up our new catalogue. Argos, helping you live for less.
A refreshing price crunch at Morrison's. Choose any 3 of these cases of beer for just £18. Pick up 12 packs of Strongbow, Brahma and Stella Artois 4%, or 15 packs of San Miguel and Stella Artois. You can bank on Morrison's this bank holiday. Selected packs offer ends 31st of August. Maximum 6 cases per customer in total. Please drink responsibly.
There's more to life than a Volvo. Now and then there's stumbling across brilliant combinations you'd never expect to go together. Like tuna and baked beans, camels and racing, tiny rock stars and very tall women. And a powerful SUV with the kind of efficiency you wouldn't normally get, such as CO2 emissions below 160 grams, front-wheel drive, and up to 47.1 miles per gallon. The new Volvo XC60 Drive-E, a car we suggest you drive while wearing black tie and beach shorts. There's more to life than a Volvo. That's why you drive one. Volvo. For life.
On 1089 and 1053 AM and DAB digital radio, TalkSport.
Now, I don't know if you saw it in one of the papers today, someone claimed to have seen a yeti. We keep hearing that people are sighting yetis, and Google Earth said that there could be proof that the Loch Ness Monster exists. Here to tell us exactly the answers to these questions and many more that we've got now, thanks to you guys, is the director of the Centre of Fortean Zoology. Good evening, John Downs.
Good evening.
How are you, Johnny? Okay?
Not bad, mate, not bad.
So, can I ask, before we start, do you believe in all these things, or do you not?
Some things I believe in, some things I most certainly don't.
Have you seen the evidence?
I've seen the video that's supposed to be a yeti in Poland.
This is the one that's in the paper today?
Yeah.
And in your opinion, John?
Man in a monkey suit, shaky camera phone.
Hold on, are you talking about Jason Cundy, who sat next to me?
Quite possibly, dear boy, quite possibly. But no, it's a bloke in a monkey suit. I think it's almost certainly a bloke in a monkey suit and a very, very dodgy camera phone.
Well, listen, we'll ask you about that one. What we do is on the show, when we get people on, like yourself, we ask people to text and email in questions.
Yes.
So we'll read out a few of them. But we'll stay with the Yeti because Pete, he doesn't say where he's from, but Pete says, were the photos of the Yeti, were they taken on just a bog-standard camera?
I have no... Well, if we're talking about the ones that were taken, that supposedly were taken in Poland, I didn't know anything about it till this afternoon. I've had a look at the pictures. All I've seen is the same as you and your readers, your viewers. I haven't actually seen the originals, and I haven't spoken to the bloke who supposedly took it. They look a bit... They don't look...
They don't look good?
No.
Okay.
Ian Lee's in Hull. He's written there. He's seen the photographs, and he just poo-poos the finding.
Well, yeah, they don't actually conclude anything, to be quite honest.
Does it annoy you, John, when you see people trying to bring evidence to to the public eye? I mean, do you think it exists? Is there anything that you've seen that's made you think, do you know what, I think the Yeti does exist?
I think the Yeti does exist, but I think the Yeti exists in what used to be Soviet Central Asia. I don't think it exists in eastern Poland.
Why do you think it exists? I mean, let me ask you this. In fact, Mao in Hull asked that if you knew a fact about the Yeti that wasn't that conclusive, would you bend the truth to make it look better?
I wouldn't bend the truth to make it look better. I might bend the truth in order to protect a witness.
Okay.
What do you mean? Just elaborate a bit more.
Okay, I have bent the truth in the past to protect a witness. There was a famous big cat sighting that happened over a few years ago when the witness was actually trespassing on property he wasn't supposed to be with, and he was in a car with the wife of the bloke who owned the property when they saw the big cat sighting. I knew the two people in question. I wasn't going to get the lady in question into trouble with her husband, so I changed the I changed the circumstances of the sighting when I published it. I know the truth of it. I'll do something like that, but now I won't change it to make it look better.
Did you keep a log of all this?
Oh, crikey, yeah. We've got the probably the biggest archive in the English-speaking world now.
Okay. And the Yeti. I mean, how do you think? I mean, where would you say the Yeti is? If you were to say the Yeti is somewhere now, where would you say he is?
I think that there is a unknown species of great ape in what used to be Soviet Central Asia, in the foothills of the Himalayas, and in the far west.
Well, how can we flush him out?
You probably can't. It'll happen by accident. Because if you just look at Google Earth, I know we're going to talk about the Loch Ness picture in a minute. If you look at Google Earth, the world is incredibly unpopulated. I know there's far too many people on the Earth, and there's far too much pollution and far too much urbanisation, but it's all in very, very, very specific areas. If you actually look at the middle of Asia, there's absolutely nobody there, and you'd need the resources of a small army to be able to actually get there for any length of time. And
then, do people often come up to you talking about this? Is this a topic of conversation you have regularly?
Surprisingly, yes.
How are you going to get out of your system then?
Well, I tell you what, there's a mate of mine, the doctor, and he said as soon as he qualified, people would come up to him in the pub trying to get free medical advice. And my stepdaughter's a vet, and I know that everybody comes up to her wanting to know, you know, my dog's got mange, what do I do about it? But now everybody does come up to me with the most peculiar stories. Some of them are obviously made up, some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are just misinterpretations.
What about the Loch Ness? Let's talk about that for a sec, because Mike R. in Lee has texted in saying that his mate reckons he saw the Loch Ness, but he just thinks he's pulling his chain. What do you think about that?
I think the Loch Ness Monster exists. It's not what everybody says it is. The people who believe that there is a prehistoric monster in Loch Ness, that's bloody nonsense. For one reason, I'll just give you one of about 10 different reasons, and that's that Loch Ness was frozen solid in the last ice age.
But what about, okay, explain what we've seen on Google. Explain, what do you think that is?
It's a boat. It's a boat. It's a boat.
So you can dump that truth and you can dump that.
Sorry, mate?
You can dump that that thought that it's the Lockie.
Yeah, it isn't the Loch Ness Monster, it's a boat.
So you don't think there is anything like the Loch Ness Monster? There's no monster in the Loch Ness?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I think that there's something within the eel population in that like about once in a generation makes an absolutely enormous eel. No. That's I'm actually.
How big are we talking here?
At the moment.
How big?
Yeah,
John,
when you say enormous, I mean when people spot the Loch Ness, I mean it's gigantic. It's like, you know, dinosaur size.
15, 20 foot.
But would that make people sort of sit up and go, oh man, that's definitely a monster in there?
I'll tell you what, when I was a kid I went poaching. I still live out in the country where I used to live when I was a boy. And me and my mate David, who's been dead for years, we used to go poaching, and one night we went out and we caught an eel with an illegal eel trap. It was 18 inches long, and it bit me, and I've still got the scar on my finger now. A 20-foot eel would scare the living bejesus out of anybody. That would be a bloody amazing monster without having to sort of come up with some weird Jurassic Park wish fulfillment thing, which is just nonsense.
Well, Stephen Salford has emailed in saying if the Loch Ness did exist and it attacked you, would you have a big slash?
Oh, I do see that. I may be an eminent scientist, but I like toilet humour as much as anyone. As long as you're not taking the piss.
But honestly, do you think that these I say animals, these creatures...
It brings me out in a hot flow.
But John, bearing in mind there's never been any conclusive evidence, I think it's fair to say, on any of these animals or creatures, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it depends what you mean. There's been quite a lot of conclusive evidence on quite a few of them.
But has there...
But most of them are nonsense.
But does that mean it's not conclusive then?
It depends what you're talking about. I mean, I study stuff all over the world, some of which we've discovered, some of which is totally conclusive, and others of which is just sort of the stories people tell in pubs.
Okay, John, listen, with all the technology we have now in the world, okay, don't tell me we can't find out whether the Yetis are real or whether big eels or Loch Ness or all these characters. And okay, don't tell me we can't hide a camera somewhere and find these characters.
Yeah, of course we could, but the thing you have to think about, the people who own the technology that could actually do that have got far better things to do with it.
Okay.
I could find the Loch Ness Monster tomorrow. I could find giant eels in Loch Ness tomorrow if you gave me a spy satellite to play with. But I can't honestly imagine that the American President and British Prime Minister and everybody are going to let me mess about with an old hippie like me mess around with spy satellites.
Just in case. just in case.
John, if you had to put your money on one of these creatures existing, what one would it be?
Tasmanian wolf in Australia. It's supposed to have been extinct since 1936. People have been seeing them ever since, and I'm convinced that exists, and I'm convinced they're giant eels.
And how big are we talking for the wolf?
Size of a Labrador, but it's been supposedly extinct since 1936, and it's a fantastic creature. It's the emblem of our organisation.
Okay, John, well, listen, thanks for speaking to us on TalkSport. It's been very interesting.
Thanks for letting me come out with a string of lavatory jokes.
John,
It's out.
John, I've got nothing better to do.
Are you not doing anything tonight, John?
Oh, I could make a joke about going down to the bog, but I'm not. That'd be beneath me.
Go on, I'll set you up again.
John.
Are you doing anything tonight, John?
Yes, I'm going down to the bog.
There we go.
John,
Thanks very much, John.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, pal.
Bye-bye.
Too clever for us, right?
He busted us.
He busted us
Yeah.
there, didn't he? He busted.
I tell you what it was. No.
I think he busted us early. We actually think he.
Yeah, he played the game. But listen, it was Steve in Salford, all right? There was about 4 minutes in that interview where I didn't speak.
I had to hold it. I don't think
Because I read, would you have a big slash if the Yeti attacked you? And I lost it. I couldn't speak. I lost the plot.
Well, you managed to regain a little bit of composure. That was the one that
Because
actually,
you asked a great
that was the one
question.
that exposed us.
So, Steve in Salford, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me.
That's what I said to him to get it out of the. Can you get it out of your system?
Did I ask my would it swim or would it float gag question?
I don't think. I mean, John was well onto us there, wasn't he?
He
To be fair, we've had our fun, and John's basically turned the tables. And he
Listen, we've done it for so many weeks. We're bound to be busted one week, weren't we?
He come back to bite us on the backside. Excuse the pun.
Yeah. A clever man than we are.
Yeah, exactly
But hey,
that.
I had fun. Thank you all for sending.
Yes.
Literally,
Yes.
I gave you about sort of 4 minutes to do it, and we had over like 300. So
Guys,
thank you
so much. And Paul
Well
in
done.
Newbury. Who else we got? We've got Chris in Pompey, and we've got Dan the Saint.
So cheers, guys, for that. I hope you enjoyed it as much.